All right, today we are jumping into one of the most incredible frontiers in science, regenerative medicine. We're going to explore how scientists are basically decoding the secrets to living longer, healthier lives. And we're not talking about fighting diseases one by one, but learning how to actually rebuild our bodies from the cells on up. So let's get into it. So this whole thing kicks off with a really fascinating puzzle. I mean, you look at the animal kingdom and you see these feats of regeneration and long life that just seem like they're straight out of a comic book. A salamander loses a leg, it just grows a new one. Some whales are swimming around for centuries, just shrugging off diseases that would completely floor us. So the real question is, what's their secret? And wow, this really shows you just how big that gap is. I mean, some bowhead whales have been found with old harpoon tips from the Victorian era still stuck in them. We're talking lifespans of over 200 years. You compare that to our average of around 80, and you just have to wonder, right? How do they more than double our time on this planet? It's definitely not luck, it's some kind of fundamental biological superpower. But here's the most exciting part. This isn't magic. The genetic instructions, the cellular machinery, a lot of it actually exists inside our own bodies. We are right on the edge of finally understanding this biological toolkit and learning how to use it ourselves. So let's start with our long-lived friend, the whale. Okay, so our first stop in solving this riddle is going to take us up to the icy waters of the Arctic. We're going to unpack the secrets of the bowhead whale. How on earth does it keep its body running for 2 whole centuries? So the whale's big secret isn't that it avoids damage, it's that it's just insanely good at fixing it. Its cells are like this master repair shop, constantly patching up DNA with crazy efficiency. And the star player here is a protein called CIRBP. It basically turbocharges the whole process, making the repairs faster and way more accurate. And get this, the colder the water, the more of this protective protein the whale makes. It's like the perfect adaptation for a long, healthy life in the cold. Okay, so the whale has its master repair shop. But what about us? Well, it turns out our bodies have their own incredibly powerful maintenance crew. It's a system so fundamental to our health, its discovery actually won a Nobel Prize. It's a process called autophagy, which literally means self-eating. I know, it sounds a little weird, but just think of it as your body's ultimate cleanup and recycling program. Every single day, our cells build up junk, damaged proteins, worn-out parts. Autophagy is the process that finds this garbage, breaks it down, and then recycles the raw materials. It's absolutely essential for keeping our cells running clean. So how does this cellular cleanup crew actually get the job done? Well, it's this really elegant 4-step process. First, the cell identifies and flags the junk. Second, a special membrane wraps around all that debris, kind of like a garbage bag. Third, that package merges with the cell's stomach, which dissolves all the junk. And finally, the raw materials get recycled back into the cell for energy or to build new things. It's literally the perfect biological recycling system. So here's the crucial part. We can actually turn this system up. When our cells sense that we're low on nutrients, like when you're fasting for 12 to 16 hours, they ramp up autophagy to find energy from inside. Intense exercise, cutting back on calories, and even just getting good quality sleep, these are all powerful triggers for the cellular spring cleaning. It helps our bodies repair and rejuvenate from the inside out. Now, natural processes like autophagy are amazing, but what if we could take a more direct approach? Let's head over to the lab and see how scientists are literally turning back the clock on our cells. Okay, this is another Nobel Prize-winning idea, and it is just mind-blowing. Scientists figured out they could take a regular adult cell, like from your skin, add a few specific genes, and basically reprogram it. They can rewind its biological clock, turning it back into a powerful, super versatile stem cell. They call it an iPS cell, and these things can then be guided to become almost any other type of cell in your body. The potential is just staggering. Imagine replacing damaged brain cells or cells in your eye to cure blindness. Now, these iPS cells solve some huge problems that we had with embryonic stem cells. Because they're made from a patient's own skin, there's no risk your body will reject them, and it avoids all the ethical debates. But the technology isn't quite perfect yet. The reprogramming process sometimes leaves behind a faint memory of what the cell used to be. Researchers have this fantastic analogy for it. It's like the cell's hard drive isn't completely wiped clean. There are these little chemical tags left over on the DNA, what they call epigenetic memory. And that's a huge hurdle scientists are working to clear before we can use iPS cells everywhere.
Okay, so far we've talked about repair and renewal, but another huge part of longevity is just getting rid of the bad actors. And as it turns out, our bodies are kind of haunted by these cellular villains that just refuse to die.
Yep, you heard that right. As we get older, our bodies start to collect what scientists have nicknamed zombie cells. They're not really alive, not really dead, and they cause a whole lot of trouble for all their healthy neighbors. So their official name is senescent cells. These are cells that are too damaged to divide anymore, but for whatever reason, they dodge the signal to self-destruct. So instead, they just hang around, pumping out this nasty cocktail of inflammatory chemicals. And it's this chronic inflammation that damages healthy tissue nearby and drives a lot of age-related problems like arthritis, heart disease, and even cognitive decline. But here's the good news. We can fight back. There are compounds called senolytics that can actually help the body clear out these zombie cells. And some of the best ones are found in everyday foods. Ficitin, which is in strawberries and apples, and quercetin in things like red onions and green tea have been shown to have these natural zombie-fighting properties. So a diet full of these foods can really help keep your cellular neighborhood clean. So when you start putting all these pieces together, learning from the whale, boosting our own cellular recycling, reprogramming cells, evicting the zombies, you start to see a completely new picture of medicine emerging. And this right here is the fundamental shift. The goal isn't just about extending lifespan, the total number of years we live. The focus is now on extending our health span, the number of years we live with full function, with energy, with vitality. It's about adding life to our years, not just years to our life. And make no mistake, this is not some far-off sci-fi dream. This number, 16.79%, that's the projected annual growth of the regenerative medicine market. Billions of dollars are pouring into this research because the science is real and the potential is enormous. This field is moving from the lab to the clinic at an absolutely incredible speed. So that brings us to the final and maybe the most important question of all. All this incredible science is pushing us toward a future where we have more healthy, active years than ever before. It forces us to ask not just how we can live longer, but how we can live better. What are we going to do with all that extra time? It's a question for all of us to think about as this new age of medicine arrives.